SF Sorrow, the pretty thing. Freaking love that record, man. So, let's get right into this, man. Welcome aboard, cosmonauts, man. I'm so glad you're here. I'm excited to do this video. It's a video I've been wanting to do for years. And I am your host, by the way, Cosmic Brian, formerly known as the freaked out fiend of the vinyl community. No, I'm still known as that, by the way. Anyway, here's what we're listening to, man. It's a double album. It has two albums by the Pretty Things. It's a collection of two albums. It's called Real Pretty, and it has two records. The first one is SF Sorrow, and the other one is Parachute. They're probably their most lauded albums in their repertoire, and it's in one album, which I found that out at a record store. I see a record store down here. I was in shopping for records at Euclid Records, and I seen when they play a record overhead, they put it on a display so people know what's playing. And I seen it. I said, I've never seen that Pretty Things record, but I did recognize that it was SF Sorrow, and I asked them, I go, what's the deal? And they said it has both Parachute and SF Sorrow, and I was like, I'll take it, man, because I was like, I didn't have either one of the albums at the time, so yeah, I went for it. I think I paid like $15 for it, man. So it was a hell of a deal. It's an awesome collection of the two greatest albums in their catalog. Fantastic artwork too. So anyway, it has everything to do with this video that we're doing today. We're showing 10 records from this book right here. It's the Richard Morton Jack book of psychedelic records. It's called 101 Iconic Underground Rock Albums, 1966 to 1970, Psychedelia. And as you can see, all the major records are shown there on the cover, and then this huge list of all the great psychedelic albums. I was so keen on getting this book back in the day, and then once I started collecting psychedelic albums, this was like a huge resource book for me. And I'm sure if you're like me, any other people that own this book, your goal was to try and find every record in this book. And there's even some side stuff, and there was some other records that didn't make the 101, but they're like honorable mentions. That I'm sure we're trying to find those as well. So I've never done a video about this because I didn't think I had enough records to do it. But of course now I've got plenty of the records that are in here. I'm going to show the ones I'm going to show them in the order of their appearance in the book. They're not like, there is some that are skipped that I do have, but decided not to show them either because I showed them recently, or I just wanted to show something else. But I'll show them in order, and I'm only going to show in the book one of the albums here in my stack because I tried to do it in my first take, and it was fumbly because I was dropping all the bookmarks and they were all falling out. It was just, and it took so long, the video. So I'll show the first record and go from there. But let's get this big chug thing going here, man. I'm on the end of the summer shandies, so the seasonal Leinenkugel summer shandy. We'll see you next season, summer shandy. Jesus. Anyway, let's do this, man. I appreciate you guys. This toast is for y'all, but you're gonna get blasted here. Boom! Gotcha! What if I accidentally shut my camera off? That'd be great. Anyway, let's hoist this thing up and toss it back. This is to all you, man. For all your support of Cosmic Vinyl, the comments, the likes, the views. I appreciate you so much, man. Let's do this thing. Toss it back.
Oh, yes, my good friend, of course.
Nice citrusy flavor there. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. Gonna lose these mind shields, get into the purple specks that match my completely purple outfit, even down to my kicks. Jesus. All right, let's do this thing. There we are, Purple Master. Engage! All right, let's do this. We gotta dive right in because otherwise this video is gonna get long as hell. So the first record, I'll show you how they're displayed in the book first of all, and then that'll be the end of the book because, like I said, it was a nightmare. So here's the first record I'm gonna show, and that's the Free Spirits. And that's how they show one page with the picture of the album cover, and then you've got like a quote underneath it by somebody that was in the band or knows the band. Then you got a nice write-up on stories around the recording of it or about the band, a little brief history, which is very cool. And there's some extra stuff in here too. You've got like 10 great European psychedelic singles. So yeah, there is some extras in here. And there's just so many records, man. Like, here's another one. That's how they show it. Usually just a picture of the album and then a little write-up. So yeah, that's the end of the book. I'm not gonna mess with the book again. So anyway, here's the record, the Free Spirits. It's called Out of Sight and Sound. I love that cover. They're all out there kicking it in the sticks. Just kicking it in the sticks. This was released in 1967 on ABC Records. Features a young Larry Coryell, the great jazz guitarist, man. These are five guys that listen to a lot of jazz and R&B. They were all living in the same New York City neighborhood. Imagine that, all these talented cats, man. Flirting with psychotropic drugs and playing jazz rock. They're credited with being one of the introducers or pioneers of jazz rock, and I think they need a little psychedelic recognition as well, because this album is fantastic. There they are, like in the studio there. But yeah, these guys were visionaries, man. Most of the songs on here recorded in a single take, as their producer was a complete dick. But yeah, this is a super fun listen by these five hip cats from New York City who brought their LSD experiences into the jazz psych world, and we're all more thankful for it, man. So yeah, really cool album to open up with. Again, I only have like a few of these albums are going to be originals. That's one of them. The most of them are going to be reissues. Now, I don't show a lot of this band. I don't show a lot of Beatles albums, but I do listen to a lot of Beatles records. And I just haven't listened to this in a long time, probably because I listened to it like over and over back in the day. But this, obviously, this is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Also released in 67. All these are released in 67, by the way, so I'll save myself the time. But this is one of the most innovative, influential albums of all time. I think we can all agree on that. And there's really not a whole lot more that can be said about this record that hasn't already been said. I will give you some factoids instead, just a few tidbits from the cosmic trivia world. Jesus. This album, the recording process cost £25,000, which back in that era in 67 was unheard of. And 700 hours of the recording process due to all the experimentation and whatnot. Just constant experimentation. Lots of marijuana, some LSD went into the making of this as well. Even the sleeve was a work, a formidable task in putting together this art. But it's incredible, one of the most iconic album covers of all time. Love it. This is one of the first albums to provide full lyrics to every track on the album with it, which is very cool. And here's a little factoid that's kind of cool. So this is obviously a reissue, but these used to be like pop-outs. And this mustache, it was rumored that if it was consumed, would alter your mind and give you a little mood expansion. I don't know if that's true, but it's just a great piece of the Beatles Sgt. Pepper's lore. I love it. I'm not going to eat it, so just don't try and talk me into it in the comments. But just a wonderfully bizarre pop psych record that just will be known till the end of days, man. It's pop, it's rock and roll, it's raga, it's avant-garde, it's classical, it's everything packed into one, and it's just a perfect package of an album. It's great. Now this next one is also an experimental album, and that's Captain Beefheart and his magic band, Safe as Milk. Love the fisheye lens they used to take that picture there of the band, looking cool. Captain Beefheart was AKA Don Villiet. I'll try and pronounce, I think it's Vliet was his real name. He was a young artist, painter, sculptor, poet, who was drawn into music with his high school friend Frank Zappa, and they listened to a lot of blues and R&B and jazz, and you can hear just about every bit of that in here. Ry Cooder joined the band after they signed with Buddha Records, adding his guitar mastery to this album. There's the track. It's kind of in a circle there, but I love that yellow and black checkered back cover. Fantastic. It's quite an undertaking of experimentation, like I mentioned. You got snaking guitars, you've got insane time signatures, fuzzed out bass throughout, snarling vocals. It's just a fantastic record. The band is tight, and Captain Beefheart, of course, has become an underground musical icon. I just love that record, man. So cool. So many things there. You got country, pop, doo-wop, R&B. I mean, it's all in there. There's the red Buddha label in case you wanted to see that there. So this next album is The Seeds, Future. This was released in '67 on Crescendo Records. After releasing their self-titled LP and their second LP, Web of Sound, Sky more or less became the leader of the band. They had a huge breakthrough hit with Pushing Too Hard. It made the top 40. Then Sky wanted to take the band into this more of a hippie movement. He claimed to be one of the forerunners of like the flower power. He even called it flower power in an interview. Now, did he invent the phrase? I don't know. Who knows? I've never heard that before, but who knows? But he used it in an interview. But they were a California garage rock band who gigged relentlessly and developed a great following. And then they came out with this and more psych. It has some garage moments, but it is more psych leaning. And the rest of the band not really into the direction, but they were following Sky, who is by this time this headstrong force, this LSD drenched psychedelic madman who burned incense and rode a magic carpet. Look at this artwork that he did on the back. I don't think he did this on the front, but he did do this on the back. I mean, because he signed it right there. But I mean, they hyped this thing up so much, and Sky Saxon was the ultimate hype guy. And I think they just kind of fell victim to their own hype. They didn't get invited to the Monterey Music Festival, which they really needed to further their career. But regardless, I love this record. It'll always be one that I'll go to when I want to hear some cool psychedelic seeds. This next one is a soundtrack called The Trip. It was the soundtrack of a Roger Corman film that starred Henry Fonda and Susan Strasberg, Bruce Dern, Dennis Hopper, written by Jack Nicholson. I think he might have been in it too. I can't remember for sure. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I didn't get it when I seen it the first time. I'll have to watch it again. But this is actually the Electric Flag, Michael Bloomfield's band after the Butterfield Blues band. But yeah, a weird film, but a cool kind of tripped out album, man. Mostly instrumental, lots of short, like 1 minute, tracks, probably just to, elevate a scene in the movie. But yeah, very cool, man. There's the track list. Yeah, dig this, man. It was cool revisiting that one as well. And that one also made the 101 Iconic and the Richard Morton Jack. So heavy duty, right? One is Hapshash and the Colored Coat, featuring the Human Host and Heavy Metal Kids. What another great tripped out cover. I love that, man. This is an original copy here. This was the brainchild of a fella named Guy Stevens. He was produced it, and he employed these two British artists who did these amazing psychedelic posters that they made a lot of these posters for bands and concerts and stuff, and that's the three of them there. The guys' names were I don't know if it's on this. I'll read it though off my notes. Nigel Weymouth and Michael English, two artists who not only did those posters, but they had a clothing shop on King's Road in England, where they sold like hippie clothes and the far out psychedelic garb that the Stones and the Beatles both wore, so their clientele was definitely uptown. But this is just total improvisation. There are some musicians in there to kind of at least keep some structure, but mostly it's just them improvising whatever they wanted to say. They're just total freeform freakouts. I actually was pretty entertained revisiting this, and they have another one called Western Flyer, which I think it's only one of the guys. Nigel Weymouth is on that album, but I have both of those. But yeah, pretty cool album. Next one one is another reissue I picked up not that long ago, called Blossom Toes, We Are Ever So Clean. But yeah, this is released on Marmalade Records, a division of Polydor Records. As happy as they might seem on the cover there, they hated this whole process of making this album. It really was, they were a band already, they were gigging already, they had written all original songs, they were happy with the way things were going, but this guy, their manager, what the hell was his name? Gomelski, Giorgio Gomelski, offered them a record contract and to be able to record an album, so they jumped on board. They basically became puppets to his every whim, including the name of the band, Blossom Toes. They had songs to record, but they ended up being heavily overdubbed with complicated, weird arrangements and stuff. They had no say at all as far as the record recording process went. But I gotta tell you, man, I dig this, regardless of how bad it ended up failing commercially. It's witty, it's whimsical, it's trippy pop psych, some kind of deranged psychedelic stuff in there. But the band did get a chance in 1969 to make the album they wanted to make, called If Only for the Moment, which sounds like a completely different band than this album. But kind of a rough go of it for the band, but I don't know about you, but I dig that record, man. Quirky British trippiness. All right, next album, one of the coolest covers I'm going to show here. This is Art Supernatural Fairy Tales. This is a UK psychedelic kind of prog psych band who would eventually evolve into the band Spooky Tooth later on. This is the band only minus, this is Spooky Tooth minus vocalist Gary Wright, who would join after this album. But such an awesome prog psych record here. And the album cover was done by the Hapshash guys, the Colored Coat guys, which is a comment to their work. It's just fantastic. But fueled by their flirtation with psychotropic drugs, they pulled off this killer psychedelic prog album. I just love this. They do an awesome cover of Buffalo Springfield's For What It's Worth. But they title it here called What's That Sound? But man, I dig every song on this record. It's so good. I don't know what's going on here, if these are like some sort of evil ghost entities like invading their space. Jesus, I don't know, but man, just a great record. Looks cool, sounds cool. I'm glad it made the book. That's an a Karma reissue, by the way.
For many nights that the end doesn't seem very far out of sight. Think I'm going where? Think I'm going where?
Now here's a guy who is an amazing artist who I hardly listen to anymore. I mean, I used to listen to this record and Are You Experienced religiously when I was in high school. And I'm talking about Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Jimi was discovered by the Animals' Chas Chandler. He was taken to London, where he fell nicely into that musical scene and became a major part of the scene there. They recruited Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell to form the power trio, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. And they recorded this amazing record, their second LP. Look at this artwork. This is, I gotta give you the full effect. This is one of the most beautiful albums I've ever seen. I love the Eastern vibe and all the colors. just amazing. And then it's got the gatefold here. But yeah, man, Jimi really had a vision for this record. I mean, Are You Experienced is a great album. I love it. But his vision really comes through on this, and the band sounds incredible. One of the most beautiful and coolest records I've ever listened to. This is an absolute masterpiece, and I'm glad it was in the book as well. And this is our last record here. This is the David. Not nearly as colorful as an album cover, but still a really cool work of art. Covers done by Alan Maynard, who I don't have any idea who he is. But it's called Another Day, Another Lifetime. This is a group of high school students that did this record. They were so far ahead of their time. I mean, look at those cats, man, so young. The lead singer and songwriter was a student named Warren Hansen, who's apparently his dad is given credit for inventing the spacesuit. I had no idea, man, but I do salute you, my friend, as a cosmic, as one of our cosmic brothers for sure. But their parents totally backed their play as being musical artists. They helped them get this, find a producer, and they made their own record label. They really put their all into this album. They even invented their own musical instrument that was to cause guitar distortion. It was called the plasmatron, and which it can be heard throughout this record. And then there's also some killer organ. Great songwriting. I mean, these guys were so far ahead of their years. But yeah, it failed to break through. And that's too bad because it's a lush psych album. I really like this record. If you're wondering, the guys when it didn't break through, they were so dismayed. They broke up after high school. And if you're wondering what happened to the plasmatron, Warren had his folks just throw it in the trash. So somewhere it landed in some friggin' California landfill. This piece of history, of psychedelic rock history, which could have been in a museum or something, I feel like, alongside a David statue. Anyway, that's the last of the 10 albums I pulled from the Richard Morton Jack 101 iconic underground rock and roll psych albums. I hope you guys dug this, man. I'll do another one because I got plenty more of the records in that book, and I'm sure this has been done by other channels as well. And I know there was a big deal with the Acid Archives. People were showing records from that too. But I hope you guys dug this, man. I'll see you next weekend. Getting a late start on this, so this is probably gonna come across your airwaves on Sunday. So, but yeah, I dig you guys, man. Thanks for hanging out. I always appreciate you, and I am out of here, man. I'll see you guys later.